What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. I'm your host, Warren Thompson, but today I have two other hosts with me. We have Wendy from the Movie Couple and
Hello.
Chris
What's
from
up?
Cosmic Culture. You can check both of them out. We'll put their links down below. You should know both of them, and they're going to be on the channel a lot more, so get familiar with them. And I'm glad they're here today because we're talking about some controversial topics. We're talking about kind of Marvel Phase 4, how it was, and going into Phase 5, and DC, the DCU, the complete reboot of the DCU, which Wendy, you and I were talking, and you're like, people are pissed off.
Yeah.
And we've seen a lot of people. I feel like I've seen both, but I think let's just go ahead and talk about this first. I think it's a good thing.
I'm stoked.
I think Chris thinks it's a good
Chris is first in line for this. I've been saying this for
thing.
years.
He has. He
He'll be
really
the first
has.
in line.
Years I've been saying
Yeah,
this.
right. Yes.
For years, you've been saying this?
Literally.
He has. Yeah,
Since
no,
which
he
movie?
I've literally been saying this probably since
The news of the Batman, I think, right? Because there was like a whole separate universe thing.
I mean, I can
Remember,
go
it's
back
like-
in my channel and find it, but it's been
Right,
at
and
least
find it.
3 years I've been saying this. Literally, it's just there's no hope. And you want to spiel about DC, I could probably make this 20-minute podcast turn into 6 hours, but I won't. But
6 hours later, Chris is still on.
you guys have gone to bed and I'm still
We're
sitting here
gone,
ranting
we're
about
gone.
it,
They're
but
talking.
it's so that's the only way. Nobody in the world could convince me there's another way for DC to get on its feet than to say, you know what? We did a thing. It wasn't the best thing. Thanks. Let's go.
What if Henry Cavill showed up and was like, all right, Chris, let me convince you?
No.
No.
Not Henry Cavill could change my mind. My mind could not be changed. It doesn't work.
Okay. I think I agree with you, but let's hear what Wendy has to say first, too.
I
What do you
mean,
think, Wendy?
After that.
She's like, I'm
Wait.
afraid to.
I am an island. No. I do think it's a good thing. I think it's necessary because of what it seems like they want to do. What, Zaslav with his 10-year plan and the hiring of James Gunn and Peter Safran. I think they're trying to build out a more cohesive universe that can expand out to the different Earths, and they can maybe eventually build up to that big ensemble movie where we have Crisis on Infinite Earth, right? But the problem was everybody wanted that from day one because we had seen CW do it. And everybody, and it's already exists in the comics, so everybody wants that day one. It's like, but we can't get that until we establish all these characters for us to fall in love and connect with them, which I thought we really had something was going, with Justice League. And I was like, okay, but then there's all this like drama, and then we got the Snyder Cut, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And
It was way
through
better than
twice.
the original version.
I mean, yeah, like
But
we
too
got a
little,
way
too
more
late.
piece of story.
But too little,
Yeah.
too late.
Yeah, too
It
late
was
because
too little,
they're
too
not going to
late.
do anything with it. That's the problem. So, it's I think resetting it is going to be a good thing. What I was telling Warren about, and I think Chris, you weren't in here yet. We were just trying to talk, but then I was like, I'll save it for the show. Is that if you go on Twitter right now, there's a lot of very like not mean, but there's
It's mean.
passionate.
It's mean. People
It's
want James
mean.
Gunn to.
They
do
want
unspeakable
him
things.
to
There's a
be-
petition to fire him.
But
I mean-
this
Yeah.
is where I'll jump in and I'll
Are they
say
doing worse? That sucks.
they
Saying worse things.
they couldn't have picked a more perfect person to be James Gunn than James Gunn. Like, the duo, I don't know how I feel about the duo co-leadership role, but Peter Safran is pretty traditionally a quiet back. You don't really hear a lot from him. James Gunn is on Twitter tweeting at that noob kid 69 saying you're wrong and an idiot, and that's perfect.
Yeah.
And he already
I like that he
has.
does that.
And he's already started doing
Yeah.
that. And he's tweeted so many things about, we're starting over. And I've talked to all these actors, and the actors have come out, and they've said really good, positive things. And you're going to get updates in January. We know. I'm already writing a Superman script. We know. And any questions that are out there, like he's out there telling these big scoopers, you're an idiot, you don't know anything. Or, yeah, no, you're right. And it's giving us a direction. It's giving us an idea. So James Gunn is the perfect guy for this. And then on top of that, all these people who are all angry because, I really liked Henry Cavill. I really liked Aquaman as Jason Momoa. He doesn't care. Like, he just doesn't.
Yeah, he already said, I know we're going to piss people off.
He likes it.
Right. Well, I think to me, it's all about, look, he has a vision. And I think in his mind, he's like, there's only one way this works, and it's to start over. to wipe the slate clean. Now he did say like not everyone's gonna be recast, but I think it's like people like his wife, right? Who play roles in the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, like characters like that, right? Amanda Waller, maybe she stays, someone like that. But all like the big superheroes, I think are going to be recast. And even Chris, you and I were talking about this last night. You know, Zachary Levi came out and like responded to somebody who was like, "Oh, don't believe everything you hear. We're Gucci. I'm Gucci." You know, to me, I'm like, he's just saying Shazam 2 isn't canceled. I'm pretty sure he's gone after Shazam 2.
Well, and then to that note too, like these movies are still coming out, right? Just like what you're saying.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And they don't
like,
want the hype to disappear.
Yeah. Right, exactly. You're not going to say like, "Yep, nope, they're gone." So
it's
like,
coming out, but who cares?
Right? Why would I go watch Shazam 2? Like, you can't really say it. You still have to be strategic as like a business person, right? You still have to bring money to the studio, so they're not going to cancel these movies like The Flash and everything like that. I actually think they should have pushed the Flash back, rewritten it a little bit, and like that's how you have the complete reset of the DCU.
Yeah.
Right. And then you just go into a different universe from there.
Yeah.
I think that would have been good. And who knows like what their actual plan
maybe
is.
Maybe they do.
They're right, exactly. Maybe they just, who knows. But Wendy, like you said, I think the idea is to eventually have a big multiverse. But I think James Gunn, having worked with Kevin Feige and at Marvel a lot, I think he realizes that, I'm sorry, just the DCEU started off terribly. They just rushed it, and they're like, well, Marvel spent some time building, you know, individual movies, introducing individual characters. Let's just throw them all into one. It's like, oof, there's no reason for me to invest besides the fact that it's the Justice League, but that doesn't make it good.
No emotion.
Right, exactly. Like I was invested in Captain America meeting Iron Man because I had watched both of them, fallen in love with both of them as characters, as movies, and Thor and, you know, Black Widow, everyone. It's like, oh my gosh, they're coming together finally. There was no build up to that. It was just kind of like, oh, look, the Justice League, here you go. And Wonder Woman and Batman and Superman had already kind of met each other before in Batman vs. Superman, which was cool. I actually did like how Wonder Woman came into that, how they were introduced, but I feel like they just dropped the ball with everything else.
Yeah.
And they do need to reset. It's sad because I like the casting for everybody.
Me too.
Really,
I think that's the hardest part. And I think that's where all the passion of the fans coming in, like with all the online, you know, messages and stuff like that, is like most people really enjoy, myself included, really enjoy Henry Cavill as Superman. So I'm like sad for him that he's not going to get to, you know, throw on the cape and continue as of right now. I'm still a little pissed that we never got a Man of Steel 2, but instead we got Batman v Superman. Like I would have been way more content if we got an MOS 2 and then we got BVS. You know, like Henry Cavill, if you really think about it, he had one solo movie as Superman. He really had no time to tell that story at all.
Well, I mean, to build on that, though, Cyborg didn't even get a solo movie. The Flash hasn't had a solo movie. Like, they had Justice League and Man of Steel come out. And exactly. So, it wasn't any of the actors' fault. I mean, from Affleck to Cavill to even Zachary Levi, like, they play the characters very well. The Rock is a fantastic Black Adam. But the management around them, there was no James Gunn and Peter Safran and no plan. It was just, hey, what movie's going to make us the most money next week? Let's do that. And it's unfortunate, but I don't think there is a situation where you can rewrite that unless you're doing the whole multiverse thing 5 years plus from now to keep that going.
But it gets, and that's the whole point, is you have to do it in the future because otherwise it gets convoluted. It like the DCEU was. Right. You have to have, and what you said was like they didn't have any vision. That was the problem. And their plan kept changing. Yeah. And it doesn't help that, like, the problem with the Snyderverse was it, like, DC, Warner Brothers hated it, right? They hated it, but they saw it as an opportunity to make money. Like, let's just be honest, right? Give the fans what they want, but hey, we can make money off of this because people will watch it. We can sell a version of it, put it on HBO Max. Like, it made sense to do it, but they were done after that. I don't think there was a world where DC was like, let's bring back in Zack Snyder to do everything. Right. And let's restore the Snyderverse. Like, that's just what, like, a certain group of fans wanted, which I get them, right? I'm not saying like they're wrong, but DC wasn't going to do it. Warner Brothers wasn't going to do that, right? Because if you're the studio, you'll figure out a way to make money, but you're not going to like so-called cave into like demands of like a select group of people. But James Gunn coming in is that's his attitude. He's seen what Marvel's done. He's worked with Marvel. He's seen the connectivity. He's seen how it's supposed to work. And I think that's what he's going to do. He's going to start building these movies. It seems like he's going to like take these characters from when they're younger, because he's already said that about Superman, and then build them up. And then in the future, we can do the Crisis event. So
it's almost like there's a blueprint you could follow that does this already.
Yeah, just have to be patient. And I think there was just too many cooks in the kitchen, honestly, because that's a big IP and a big moneymaker, and it's got a built-in fan base. So they think it's, you know, like, let's just put out movies, and it's like the fans want to connect with these characters so much. Yeah, exactly. Like,
money.
Yeah.
You know, I probably didn't even need to have seen like a trailer for Wonder Woman 1984, and I would have just bought a ticket to see it because I like Wonder Woman.
You would have watched it.
I would have watched it, and so didn't love it. Didn't love it.
Yeah. Well, and that's the cool thing about James Gunn is he has enough money. He's done enough. Like, he's doing this because he's a fan, right? I think he's perfect for it. I agree with him. Start it over. So, like, it is love-hate, because I would love for Cavill to remain Superman, right? I would love for Gal to remain Wonder Woman. But I think at this point, if you try to, like, mix a new universe with the kind of the past, it just gets too confusing. I don't think there's a scenario where you can blend what the DCEU was with the new DCU. I don't think there's a scenario where it's not confusing. I think just clean slate.
I'll even bring it one further than that. I think those actors and character combos are tired. You know, you have these actors who genuinely loved the characters. Cavill loved Superman. He said it several times. He didn't leave. He was pushed out and tried to come back. Finally did. Got pushed out again. You know, Wonder Woman. Gal loves Wonder Woman. Patty Jenkins, the creator of all these movies. They're absolutely obsessed with these characters. How excited Jason Momoa is, because we all know he's going to be playing Lobo. Like, but after constantly trying to, you know, keep this franchise up, I just think it's like, you see Gal Gadot and you're just like, yeah, but what does it matter? You know, you see Henry Cavill. The association of the characters is a bad taste because of the lack of success in the cinematic universe side of it, not with the actor to the character. Right. And I think you do need to clean that up.
Right. Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. It's just kind of the taste of how Warner Brothers handled it all.
And I feel for all of those actors. Henry.
Oh, for sure.
Dwayne.
I know.
They're all, I feel really bad for all of them. Dwayne put 12 years
15,
into Black Adam, you know? And the dude tried. He tried even further than a lot of the actors to put DC on his back. He's like, I'll be Kevin Feige. Let's go. I got phase one. I'm just going to say it's phase one.
Right.
Like, and he got shut down.
Yeah.
And I feel for them.
James Gunn.
What I am liking is, and you guys already touched on this, is that, you know, we're not hearing it from like some sort of leak that this had happened to Henry Cavill or this happened to Dwayne. Like, we're reading it directly from their personal Instagram accounts. So it's their words, their voice, and not, you know, not coming from somebody else. And I think it's important to let the actors who have played these characters to make that announcement, with James Gunn following up on Twitter or his own Instagram or whatever and saying, yep, this is what's happening. And then announcing things like, you know, I'm writing a Superman script and it's going to be younger, but it's not an origin story, because my God, we do not need another Superman, or like, we all know at this point, if you don't know the origin story of Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, like you that you haven't been paying attention, that you maybe like you're brand new or something like that. I do want to ask you guys this though.
Go ahead.
Because we're talking about, hopefully this reset will give us a cohesive.
I wonder if you're about to ask what I was just about to ask. Go ahead.
Potentially. What are you guys' take on the movies such as the Batman, Matt Reeves and Joker 1 and 2? Like, how is that going to fit in, or are we placing those on other Earths, or they're like Elseworld?
There's been close to like no even scooper information on what's going on with Batman. I've seen a couple random Twitter accounts be like, Robert Pattinson's going to be the new Batman. I think Joker's its own thing. They're making a second. They're gone like the musical route with it. I'm not even sure how I feel about what they're doing with that. It's going to be weird. But I think there's a possibility that the Batman could be our Batman. There's a possibility. It really depends on how much James Gunn wants to create his own Batman, I think. If he's like, you know what? It was good. People liked it. He's young. He loves the Batman. Sure, let's just skip that step. But if he wants to create his own Batman as James Gunn, this is my Batman, then no, he's going to hack that too, and he's going to completely start over.
I don't think that's a bad idea.
Which one?
I actually don't think it's about it. To have Robert Pattinson be the main Batman and
I don't
whatever
either.
that universe is, just have that be the main universe. Because if you think about it, that kind of is started from scratch.
Yeah, it's year 2 Batman. So
You got a little jump start.
Right. That is, yeah, you're like you said, when a year 2 Batman. And yeah, just link everything else after that. And it's pretty easy to say, like, look, guys, we're finishing Shazam 2, we're finishing The Flash, and then we're taking it to the Batman universe. Yeah, I mean,
I'm so excited.
I would like them to do that, but I do think we're still going to get the one-off ones like Joker 2. And if Batman, but here's the thing is, like, they had plans for spin-offs of that Batman universe, like Penguin, stuff like that.
And they're still happening.
Like, right.
Oh.
So it's like, are we having 2 universes here? Like, because I get the idea of doing one-off things, but then when you do a one-off thing of another one-off thing, it does become its own universe. So it's like, I think the confusion is the biggest enemy of DC. Is nobody ever had an idea what the clear picture was, what exists and what. And I think they have to get rid of that. So I would be all for them just making that universe the main universe. And then, that's year 2 Batman, get your year 1 Superman, get your year 1 Wonder Woman.
And I think enough people liked him to do that. Like, Robert Pattinson did a great job.
Oh, I love him.
Everybody involved with that Batman, it was fantastic. It's a young Batman, which is what we're trying to go with here, it sounds like. So that's definitely a great direction to take it. And then, of course, James Gunn's already come out and said, like, there's going to be video games that are canon. There's going to be TV shows. So all those spin-off shows, if they're like, you know what, this is the new Gotham. This is everything that happens here is new Batman canon, new DCU canon. Go. Then there's zero problem with that. It's going to be if it's shrouded in mystery and we're sitting here trying to guess, is this Batman our Batman? He needed to be like, yes. You know what, guys? January the 7th, we have a big DC announcement. Guys, Robert Pattinson, your DCU Batman. Everybody clap your hands. Woo! That'd be great. But if not, then he'd be like, no, they're doing a trilogy, and then he's done. One way or the other. I just need.
Yeah, I do think they need to wrap that up somehow.
Yeah.
If that's not going to be the main route that they go, they should wrap it up and make it very clear. Like you said, we're doing this, and then it's all about. That's what they need to do. They need to make it all about one universe, because you know what? We're about to dive, and this will lead us into Marvel. We're about to dive into like the true multiverse in Phase 5.
Dun, dun, dun.
Nothing's really done that yet. Right? There hasn't really been a cinematic universe that's had the multiverse in it. So to end on DC, I don't think you can just go straight into the multiverse because it's too confusing at this point in time. Marvel's doing a really good job. They're easing us into it, like with Doctor Strange. They talked about the incursions and stuff like that. And, Ant-Man's going to introduce us a little bit more to variants and stuff like that. Spider-Man Far From Home did it as well. No Way Home, sorry. Spider-Man No Way Home did that. And they're easing us into, and that's what Marvel did, right? They eased us into the whole cinematic universe.
But it took years.
Exactly. And DC wanted to do it in like 2 films.
Start with Justice League.
Just go.
Start with Justice League. People know who Superman is. Start with Justice League.
Right. And I get the thinking. It's like everyone knows who the Justice League is, but it's like
I still want to have a connection with those characters, with those actors.
Right. It's the connection, it's the emotion, it's the feeling. And to be honest, like, we talk about this stuff every day, but the vast majority of the population does not.
Right.
Let's just be honest. So, but anyways, moving on to let us know. Let us know if you're happy
down below
about a complete swipe of the DC universe, just starting from fresh. That's what they're doing.
Rate yourself on a scale of Chris to Wendy.
Chris to Wendy.
Are you Chris? Are you a Warren? Or are you a Wendy?
But we all agreed that we want the reset.
Well,
Saturday.
We all agree we want the reset.
That means everybody should agree.
Everyone should agree. So everybody 10 out of 10. But so Marvel, like I said about the multiverse is coming. Like the true multiverse is coming, not what we got in Doctor Strange, because that was kind of a letdown. But Phase 4 was kind of that building phase, right? Wouldn't you all agree?
Oh,
they kind of said it was the building phase.
We've always knew that.
So, yeah, and Phase 4 was, received in many different ways by many different people. I would say maybe like right down the middle. But I did the video that was talking about Kevin Feige wasn't happy with Phase 4, and they're going to focus on quality over quantity now. And the comments in that video were all like, yes, that needs to happen. Less, like, they did so much in Disney Plus. They did so much.
Well,
it was too much. It honestly was too much.
Address that now, though. Like, do you both just agree there was too much coming out in 2 years?
Yes, I do.
It was a lot. And I think they were trying to wrap up some stuff and to also move us into the next phase, and also at the same time introduce a couple of characters that's going to play into it, like Shang-Chi.
So everything they did in the Infinity Saga, all the projects they did, they almost did the same amount of projects in like a year, in like 2 years. That's a lot. It's too much.
It's not special. It's not important. It's just next project. There's no digestive time. They're just drowning us in content. And I get they're trying to promote Disney Plus, whoever they is, whether it was, if it's Kevin, if it's Bob, it's irrelevant. As the consumer,
it was totally JPEG.
As
100%.
And I think it's safe to say all of us here are super fans. I mean,
sure,
right? It's too much. It's too much. And for the layman fan, for the casual fan, or the new off-starting fan, just where do you even begin? It's just too much.
So now Phase 5 is really supposed to bring us in it. And we have some really great projects coming in Phase 5, starting with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which is where I really think we're going to dive into the whole multiverse aspect of it.
For sure.
Because there's going to be more than one Kang in it, right? And Ant-Man's going to be speaking with Kang kind of about other Kangs, right? And we get Loki season 2. And I mean, this is really about to open it up. So do we think, I think it's a no-brainer, but do we think Phase 5 is just going to be so much better than Phase 4?
No.
No?
I don't. I don't think it's going to be... The problem is, and the problem will always be, we're comparing it to Endgame. We're not comparing it to Phase 1. Like, if you compare Phase 4 to Phase 1, they're similarly good. I mean, there are not that many people running around talking about how great Captain America 1 was. Or how great Iron Man 3 was, whichever phase that even came out. Like, there were dud projects in the first phases. And in the second phase.
And even Thor wasn't received very well.
Yeah, the first Thor. A lot of people talk about how terrible it was and how Chris Hemsworth didn't look like Thor and all these different things. Like, the problem is when we think Phase 4 compared to the rest of Marvel in everybody's mind is Endgame. But
I would still say it's better than Phase 1. Or no, Phase 1 would be better. But also the thing is, I actually didn't think Phase 4 was terrible. I think it had terrible projects in it. And I think it had not so terrible, but not really good projects in it. But I mean, we got Loki, WandaVision, Shang-Chi. Like, there were so many, like Moon Knight, there were good projects. So I don't want to let the few duds offset the entire phase.
That's exactly my point.
But having said that, I do think Phase 5 is going to be much better. I actually am more excited about the projects and the characters.
There are a lot of really big projects coming.
Yeah. And I was excited about Miss Marvel and She-Hulk, like really excited, but I think the writing was terrible. Like, I actually think Miss Marvel started off well, and then towards the end, the writing just was bad.
It got lost.
Like, we talked about this. Right, it got lost. I thought it started off really great. And I love both characters. I do, and the actors that play them. But I think with Phase 5, just the move, like Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Secret Invasion, Thunderbolts is, and then it ends with the new Captain America, and in between is like Loki. I think the projects are genuinely better.
More exciting.
Right, they're more exciting. They are a lot more exciting, and I think they are going to hold more importance because we've already, Phase 4 really did lay the groundwork, like with the rings and Miss Marvel's bangle. And like, we're going to see that all come together now. They're clearly all products of Kang, right?
Yeah.
So we're about to see all that come together. So I think, personally, Phase 5 is going to be better. I think fans are going to actually enjoy it more.
I hope so.
Wendy, what do you think?
I just, to exercise my own caution and not to go in with any sort of headcanon, because I think that's one of the biggest problems sometimes people have, myself included, have like fall victim to my own headcanon, going in like, oh, wouldn't it be so great if they did XYZ, and then you come out of the theater and because I'm not the one writing the movie, none of that happened, even though like in my headcanon it makes sense and you're like, oh, poo, was disappointing, da 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 da. But I think
Multiverse of Madness.
So I think with phase 4, it's almost like that stepping stone for them to set it all up, and then when we get to either the end of phase 5 or even the beginning of phase 6, you can look back and go, oh, they established this back then. And that's what's so cool about them building out this Marvel universe. And like you guys already addressed, not every single project is going to be spectacular. You're going to like some, you're not going to like some. And that's okay, because they still took the time to establish these characters, whether it's in the Disney Plus series or in a film. So I do think the stakes are a little bit higher for phase 5 because of the introduction of, even though we already kind of in a way have been introduced to a version of Kang, but this is going to have higher stakes. This is going to be bigger, but I don't think we're quite at that like Infinity War Endgame level yet. Not this.
No.
We'll get there. We're building up to it. And that's what's exciting.
Secret Wars, right? Well, okay, to kind of both your points, and I'm going to ask Chris this first. Here's an interesting question, and I'm asking everybody listening as well.
Yeah.
If phase 5 is also received like phase 4 was, how do you think fans are going to react to that? Do you think there's going to be a lot of fans that are like, I'm kind of done with Marvel? Or do you think they'll hold on until phase 6 where we get Fantastic Four, Kang Dynasty, Secret Wars? Like, do you think we'll see a lot of fall off if phase 5 isn't good, like with fans? Like, if it's the same as phase 4, do you think Marvel will lose fans?
I have an internal struggle with fan bases. I love you guys. I love your guys' comments in the
There's
videos.
good and bad to every fan.
But
every
just
fandom,
relax. It's a movie. Like, I'm a super fan. We're all super fans. You guys are super fans, but
it's literally my life.
Just chill. That's like my thing. It's like Star Wars. Like, I can't even talk about Star Wars because the fans have ruined it for me. Like, on my channel. I won't really talk about Star Wars because what's the point? It's just so negative. And I do see through phase 4 that kind of happening with Marvel fans. Like, we've become kind of entitled, like, we're Marvel. Let's stick out our chest a little bit. And this was bad. This was bad. We need to be better. But, I mean, it's entertainment, and I've enjoyed all of it. Could some of it have been better or different or more exciting? Maybe. But that's really my thing about the whole fan base. So I hope not. The one thing I'll say to finish off, we haven't gotten an Avengers movie. And Kevin Feige is so smart about that. And we're not getting one in phase 5. Yeah. When that next Avengers movie does hit, it's going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
So you think people are going to hold on for no matter what happens, you think people are holding on for Fantastic Four, Deadpool, Avenger, phase 6, basically?
I think they structured it very well to kind of indict that. Yeah.
Yeah. I have to agree. I feel like we will see, let's just say, like, if phase 5 were to be received like phase 4, you're going to see a lot of, weird hashtags calling for people being fired and this and that and whatever. But then, like, if phase 6, because they'll stick around. And then they'll come back and hashtag like,
hashtag Avengers!
He's the GOAT!
Right.
Yeah, Yeah.
I can see people going like, oh, Kevin Feige lost his touch. He's getting all dry. And then, Secret Wars comes like, Kevin Feige is a genius. He's a god.
We're just passionate fans. That's all.
Right. No, and that's what it comes down to is there's passion, but then there's trying to act like you know more than Kevin Feige. And that's what I think, a lot of people I agree with Chris, because like I'll do Star Wars videos too, and then it's just like I remember it was like why Darth Vader didn't kill Obi-Wan Kenobi right away in the Kenobi series, and all the comments were like, because they had to do more episodes. It's like,
obviously.
Are you serious right now? Like, oh my gosh, I'm speaking inside of this universe, right? If you call yourself a fan but you can't put yourself inside of a universe, you're a bad fan. I'm sorry. Like,
I'm putting that at the front of the video. I'm putting that at the front of the video.
Not a bad fan. You're a passionate fan. Yeah, you're a passionate fan. You're a passionate fan. But if you can't be engulfed in this universe that you loved, then you're a little jaded. And I would say what Chris had to say. Like, just kind of try to enjoy the ride a little bit
Yeah, just take each movie as its
Yeah.
own, sit there in the theater,
Yeah.
take in that theater experience. Because, like for the longest time, remember 2020, how we couldn't even go see a movie?
I know nothing came out in 2020.
Don't
for
take
Marvel,
that for
at least.
granted. Now that movie theaters have survived that entire 2020 and we're back and we get to go and, scream and cheer at big moments in movie theaters. Like, let's embrace
Right.
that and just enjoy it.
Big things coming.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, so I think Phase 5 is going to be better than Phase 4, but for people who aren't completely sold on it, I think Phase 6 is going to be a big. I think it's just going to be big. I don't want to say it's going to be a redemption because I don't think Marvel's really fallen off. I just think by the pure quantity that Marvel put out, there was bound to be some duds. Like that's just, no one's that successful, like really. And they did try to appeal to many different, demographics, which is cool, which is really cool. So everything's not going to be. I remember texting Wendy one night. I'm like, "Did you like that episode of She-Hulk?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm the key demographic." I'm like,
Yeah.
fair.
Oh, it was the wedding episode.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
I
100% made for me.
And I was like, cool. But I could sit through She-Hulk and watch it and be fine. Did I love it? No. Am I hating it and turning against Marvel? No.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
That's it. I'm out.
That's it. Marvel's done. It's the end. I'm done.
Because one show.
Right. I mean, but I could sit there. But you have to realize, I realized, it's not made for me. But I can sit there and watch it.
She-Hulk,
I won't
Moon Knight.
rewatch it. I won't.
Not Moon Knight.
I'll rewatch Midnight. I really like.
No, I was trying to
like
think
Moon Knight a lot.
as a 26-year-old male, Miss Marvel wasn't made for me. She-Hulk wasn't really made for me.
Right.
There are different points, and I still enjoyed them. I still had fun. Would I have gone a different direction?
Well,
Maybe.
that's the thing. Sure, but you're not so jaded to where you're like, screw Marvel.
No, because there are really awesome aspects. Like, for example, what I took out of Miss Marvel is how cool is it that the world lives in a world where superheroes and aliens and evil villains exist. Like, you're looking at these high schoolers.
Right, it's kind of
and there's
now.
Oh,
Yeah.
who's your favorite superhero? Like, imagine if we had superheroes on Earth. Like,
Yeah.
what? What would there be
They're
freaking
called athletes
Yeah, exactly. But you know how cool
and K-pop stars.
That's what I took out of Miss Marvel. So you have to be able to
Yeah.
find those details that apply to you.
Yeah.
And now moving into any of these future movies and projects and shows that are coming out, we live in a world where people could find sunken alien treasure in the ocean. Go find it. I want a series just on that. Go.
Right, yeah. Or
Mhm.
Or, hey, there's a giant celestial sticking out of the water now.
Yeah.
If that was on Earth, I'd be on the top of it already,
Oh, for sure. We would be there.
I'd be climbing
New
it.
tourist
The second.
destination.
Yeah, pretty much. What do you mean a giant alien that created the planet is actually there? Okay, let's yeah.
Or we could go.
Yeah.
But I gotta go. But Phase 5, I'm really excited for. I am. And even if I take a look at the Phase 4 slate and the Phase 5 slate, I can compare them side to side and be like, yeah, I'm more excited for Phase 5.
Mm-hmm.
Just the projects and the characters that we have coming. And then Phase 4 really did set up a lot. So Phase 5 is going to address that, and then it's all going to really come to fruition in Phase 6. So for the people that enjoy Phase 4, I would say hold on and enjoy the ride. Above all else, enjoy the ride. And then I think even if you're not totally sold with Phase 5, Phase 6 will get you. That's right.
And if not Phase 6, Phase 7.
Phase 7 with the X-Men and the Fantastic Four.
Woo!
And Chuck Norris. What?
Chuck Norris.
Chuck
Maybe
Norris.
you
Playing every character.
Save the MCU. Well, I mean, if we got Harrison Ford. Wait, is Chuck Norris still alive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think he could ever die.
He's okay.
So.
He's okay.
He's
He can never
immortal.
die.
So.
So I don't know. I think a lot of fans are gonna see a pretty big, I'll just say it, redemption arc in Phase 5. What do y'all think?
No, I think the projects are there. The hype should be there. And there'll still be people complaining about this project I don't care about or that or the other. But it's all leading to an end game. A different end game. And we just gotta wait.
Well, then
We just spent the first 25 minutes of this podcast complaining about how Justice League was the first project of the DCEU. And now we're sitting here saying, like, trying to convince the Marvel fans that Secret Wars shouldn't have been the first project of Phase 4. Like, it's the same story. Like, just, it'll show up.
Yeah.
I'll ask this question to end it. I know my answer. Do you think Secret Wars will be better than Endgame?
Ooh, I can't say. Way too early for that.
God,
you
what?
guys,
Way,
your jaws just dropped.
way too early for that.
Secret War.
I think it has to be. I think it's going to be bigger. I don't think it has an option but to be. But will it be?
Well, let's say half the rumors are true, and a lot of original X-Men show up. Toby and Andrew show up again. Fantastic Four will be there, and maybe some variants like John Krasinski returns, like, stuff like that. Eternals, Celestial, who knows what it could be. But I think the potential is definitely there.
Oh, potential's 100% there.
The potential's there for sure.
Go make it happen.
If they pull it off, it will be better. But they have to pull it off.
Well, obviously. But I do think it is kind of paramount that it is bigger, for sure.
I feel like it is going to be bigger. But will it be better?
I'm trying to think back to, those moments in Endgame where you're cheering and crying, but like at the same time, because they took the time. It was like, 22 movies before we got to Endgame, right?
Right, exactly.
We had all this time to connect to these characters. And that's why I don't think Phase 4 was bad. I think they took the time to let us say goodbye to some characters, and then they introduced some new characters, and it's a stepping stone. But we need that. We need that to have those same emotions that we felt in Endgame in Secret War. So it's not like the cameos, the X-Men and the Fantastic Fours and all this variant, that's great. But are you excited simply there just for a 2-second cameo? Or are you going to be excited because you got so invested in all these characters and what they mean to the story and to you emotionally for them to make an impact and not just to show up just to show up?
Very true.
Which is why Phase 4 is 100% necessary. Everything they did was 100% necessary, even if you didn't really like it.
Yeah, and we'll look back when we get to Phase 6. We should revisit this podcast, like this specific episode, in Phase 6,
just sit there watching
and be like, be like, were we right or
we'll react to ourselves?
No.
That's not like narcissistic, egotistical at all.
No, that's just trying to make content.
Yeah.
We react to our reaction.
Yeah, I think we'll look back and just be like you said, when you're like, everything was so relevant. Even if I didn't like it, I'm glad I watched it. So and for those I've seen,
except
like,
what if
I'm not watching this. I'm not what. Okay, to this day,
actually,
always hate what if.
A lot of people loved What If. I get so many comments about What If.
Did you not like it?
I hate no.
What? Why?
It's so stupid.
Wendy's little heart. She's like,
it's what if.
I just don't care. What if?
It would be so much better.
What if it's the dumbest question in the history of questions? Who cares? What if it's what it is?
You didn't like it either, Chris?
No, I wasn't a fan.
Oh, I am on my What If island by myself.
Well, that's fine. I always tell people, if you like something I don't like, I'm not giving you crap. I just personally.
No, you're wrong, and you should feel bad.
Yeah, no, I just thought it was like the biggest waste of time.
Granted, it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and we're sitting there watching it live, so that didn't help.
That is true.
It sounds like a you problem.
We're sitting there like, I'm awake for this.
And I'm kind of a hypocrite here because I'm sitting there going, enjoy the ride. But I couldn't enjoy the ride for what I literally would sit there and be like,
hey,
and I tell you what.
I want to ask you this. Since you didn't like it, let's say you didn't watch What If at all, but then you went and watched
my life would not
MOM.
be any different.
Yeah.
But then you watched MOM, and then they revealed that who Captain Carter was. Like, would that have made less or more of an impact, or just wouldn't have changed?
0%.
It wouldn't change anything at all.
0%. I'm familiar with the character. Yeah. I mean, we've been talking about rumors of her showing up forever, and I think her showing up in a cartoon character outfit was demeaning because it's a character that deserved to be in a big movie.
Well, I also think, like, if you don't know who Captain Carter is, you're probably also not watching What If.
Also true.
So I think you would
or
go
you
into
may not read
Multiverse
the
of Madness
comics
the same.
because
Well,
that's
right.
not like one of the marquee, because
Well,
you were earlier talking
yeah.
about like the general audience, like they're not, everybody's not like us, and everybody who's watching this podcast,
Right.
listening to this podcast, that like eat, live, breathe comic book characters, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Well, I don't know. It probably wasn't as bad as I'm making it out to be, but
Well, at
I
this
just
point, it's a meme.
you didn't even like the zombie episode? Oh wait, that's not your.
I
That's
don't
not
care
his
about
thing.
zombies.
I enjoyed the zombie
That's
episode.
not, I enjoyed that one
I
a
don't
lot.
care about
That's the
zombies
one
at
I was
all.
like, okay. I actually liked a couple of the episodes. There were a few that were just dumb. Guardians of the Galaxy
There
one
were
was
some
pretty
cool
cool. The zombie
stuff.
one was pretty cool.
No, the
But
T'Challa
overall,
one was
if
good.
they say we're canceling What If season 2 and 3 because we're oversaturated and we're not doing it, I wouldn't even blink. I'd be like, I don't even think
I
I'd make a
might
video about it.
I might cheer. I might
But
make
the
videos.
content, Chris, the content.
It is. You know what? I would make 3 videos about it. You're right.
I'll make videos of me going, sorry everybody. I'm just smiling the whole time. Yeah. No, I mean, look, if you liked it, good. I'm happy. I'm actually really happy when people like things that I don't like, because
Stop
it's
that,
kind of
Chris.
like, I wish no, because I wish I could like everything, but I gotta be real, right? Which is ironic because a lot of people are like, you like everything. I'm like, not really. I
No,
did
you
love
don't.
Thor: Love and Thunder. I don't care what anybody says. I like that movie. I
You
still
like what you
it.
like. That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's your
I have
time,
no shame.
and you know.
So I look at the Phase 5 slate and I just think I'm gonna like everything though, if they do it right. I think it's set up to be really good. And
Agreed.
I just hope they throw Spider-Man in the middle of it.
they're gonna have to, I feel.
Because that's
'Cause I feel like they're
that's
gonna-
the one thing we're really missing is like the guy.
Well, I feel like there's just no option to have him out of it. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Mhm.
Especially with No Way Home being such a big multiverse movie.
And everything
Yeah,
that they're trying to like accomplish. But that's, I would argue, you know, what a recent leak, I'm sure you both saw it, of the new Avengers team moving forward. I do feel like we are missing a couple heavy hitters. Not necessarily power-wise,
It does seem like
but you know what I mean?
a little lackluster.
Just total. There are some big projects
Yeah.
coming out. Thunderbolt's going to be huge. New Captain America. Hopefully they absolutely crush it, and I hope they do. You know, and all these different things. I'm stoked for Loki season 2, but like Loki isn't Iron Man. The Thunderbolts aren't the Avengers. We are going to be missing that a little bit, and I think we're getting there in Phase 6 once the Fantastic Four are in and all the variants. And
Right.
I mean, I would bet $100 million that Robert Downey Jr. is probably going to come back at least for a second at some point in Secret Wars. You know, and that's going to be epic. But through Phase 5, I do think that there will be a noted missing presence.
Well, it's also gonna, as weird as it sounds, it's like we're just gonna have to get over the Avengers.
And
As
it's gonna be
weird, like
it's a
the
breakup. It's a
original.
breakup.
Right. It's not even. It's almost like a death. Right.
Oh, that's
Because
even
it's
sadder.
like, well, but sometimes a breakup is really hard to think positively of the person you dated.
It's
but
like, yeah.
they're gone, and it's like kind of like a death. You miss them, right? And it's like, oh, you think about all the good times. We
Yeah,
had
I guess
together.
that's
Like, I wish they were. Still
I mean, it was
here,
a
you know?
literal death for some of those characters as well, you know?
Yeah,
Well, that's what
yeah.
I'm saying. I think it's more death, but I think
We're all
just
in denial.
moving forward. All right, but I think moving forward, the Avengers, like in Phase 7, aren't going to be as prominent. I think it's going to be all about the X-Men and the Fantastic Four.
And that's coming Phase 6, baby.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be and I think that keeps it fresh.
Oh, I don't disagree.
You know, I think it keeps it fresh. So I think Secret Wars, Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars are going to be like a big Avengers thing. And then it's going to be like, all right, we're going to kind of say
Back
goodbye
off.
for a little bit. They're still going to be there, right? Because there'll be another Avengers film at the end of the next saga, but it's going to be really about the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, which I'm excited for because it's going to be fresh, it's going to be new, and I want to see how they mix it into our universe. Were they there the whole time? Did the incursions cause, does the MCU end up being 2 different universes combined into one at the end of all this? Who knows? I'm really excited for it, though. I am really excited for it.
Same.
So
It's superheroes. What's not to be excited about?
we should just enjoy it, unless it's What If, but we should enjoy it all.
Can we talk about that Mario universe? I'm just kidding.
I
I'm jumping.
know,
I'm going to the
that's
Mario
another-
universe. That's it. I'm out.
That is for another podcast for sure, because I do want to talk about that because I'm excited for the
We're
movie.
getting the Smash.
Even though
Bros.
Chris Chris Pratt it doesn't sound Italian at all, but I'm okay with it. It's me.
It's me, Mario.
So I will leave the audience with the question: will Secret Wars be better than Endgame? We've answered.
Kind
I
of.
think we all agree. That
Did we? I feel
Right,
like
well,
we kind of gave a. We
it
maybe
was like
yes.
it's set up to be. It's set up to be bigger. Will it? Who knows? They have to do it right. So, all right, we'll end with this. But gut feeling: will it be better or not? When do you go?
Oh, come on now. That's not fair. I'm not answering.
Oh yeah, I don't know. It has the potential to be.
But that's what I just
I can't.
I'm going to say the opposite of whatever Wendy says.
Gut,
There, so you guys can
gut
have your
feeling,
variations.
Gut feeling. My
No.
gut. I'll just go. Yes. No. Gut feeling. Yes. It's better than me.
I say
no.
I say no, not because it's not going to be good, but I'm gonna get hate comments for this, but probably just because we haven't seen anything even in Phase 5 yet, so it's really hard to imagine. But do I trust in Marvel to like do a kick-ass job?
She doesn't
Yeah,
understand
absolutely.
yes or no questions.
No, I don't. I don't like informal questions.
She said no. She said no.
She said no. I'm putting a big no right over her face. No.
Yeah. She said no and then elaborated. Chris, go.
Yeah. We haven't been let down
yes
yet.
Or no, not yeah or no, Chris.
Si, senor. Yeah.
Nah.
In Kevin Feige, we trust. You know, at the end of the day, I haven't truly been disappointed. A project here or there, but in the mass storyline of it, I have no reason to doubt otherwise.
Same.
Big check mark.
That's a good point. I haven't really, because back to the what if. What if didn't really mean anything, so I wasn't like.
That's why they're what ifs.
It is a meme now. I say I hate it. I didn't actually hate it. It's just a meme at this point because everyone's like, "Yeah, Warren hated What If." I'm like, "Yeah."
Just doing a little raging during the show.
It's 3 a.m. I have to watch this, but I didn't. You know, even She-Hulk, which is very low for me. I was still there watching it, just kind of like, this is kind of cool. Like, I'm not super disappointed with anything, and I think overall Phase 4 was great. I think Phase 5 is only going to get better, and Phase 6 is going to be better than both of them, and Secret Wars will be better than Endgame. I said it.
I mean, I hope so. That's I want just like up and up and up, you know.
Yeah,
That's what I want.
Yep, hopefully. But hey, let us know your thoughts down below. If you are still here watching, thank you. You made it a very long time, longer than we thought we were gonna be here today.
Leave a
be
little
sure
trophy
to go
emote.
check out. I don't know on Chris's screen where I'm at.
This way.
Or Wendy's. So go
Point
check
this
out.
way. No, Wendy's under you.
Go check out.
Nope,
Chris.
other way.
Go check out Chris.
That's me.
On his channel, and then go check out Wendy.
You did it.
On her channel. And we'll put the links down below, and we'll catch you all on the next podcast.
Woof,
Everyone
woof.
say bye. Chris said woof woof.